Hey, Coach, before we get into the game and given your roots in the North, what does it mean to you to be the NBA's second head coach ever from Canada?
Great. I mean, uh, it's not like something I have to be the second NBA coach from Canada, but proud of Jay Triano, who was my Olympic coach and our first NBA coach. Proud of all the growth that national team program and basketball in general has had in Canada, in large part due to the Raptors. So just to be a part of that fabric is important to me and a source of pride. And I've gotten a lot of joy out of seeing all the success of so many others, whether it's Jay or other coaches who have made their way into the NBA. And obviously the amount of players we now have in the NBA. So it's cool to see Canada have such a growing impact on the game.
While preparing for this game with the Raptors coach, what are some things that jump out at you on tape that you want your players to be hyper aware of in terms of the way that they attack?
I think that when I think of the Raptors, I think of an intelligent and competitive group. So they can win in ways because they are highly competitive and intelligent. Nick is a great coach. They have that championship pedigree, so they're always in the fight. And defensively, they can cause you problems if you're not crisp and clean. They'll turn you over. And when they do that, they're at their best offensively as well. So we've been known to turn it over a little bit. So we got to be careful tonight, be clear and concise with our reads and our aggressiveness, and try not to turn the ball over and let them be in transition. Get shots at the basket, clean up that discrepancy in attempts that we've fallen prey to a lot. Give ourselves a chance.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Steve. This is twofold. I'm wondering with with that small ball lineup that you used with Jeff at center. I mean, it's been incredibly productive. I mean, do you expect that to be something you use more of, even more of going forward when matchups permit? And the second part is a little off topic, but the All-Star game obviously taking place in Atlanta. How concerning is it to you, if at all, forgetting the rest aspect of it, but that you'll have an exhibition game in a place where the numbers are what they are, and how concerning is that?
Well, I think the small lineup is a strong lineup for us. Gives us versatility at both ends of the floor. We're difficult to guard by spacing the floor. Defensively, we can get into our red defense, keep bodies on the ball. Jeff is an intelligent, experienced, and versatile defender. So, that's a strong lineup for us for sure. We combat the minutes thing continually. So we project forward. I get cold sweats thinking about how many minutes all these guys are playing. But that's just the nature of this season and all the things that have been thrown at us. So I'll leave that at that. The All-Star game, I trust in the league. I trust that they will create a bubble that's safe for that game and that trip. I trust that they have experience now with the bubble and this, pseudo bubble that we're living in right now, and that they'll put the players in a position to be safe. We'll see what happens. I'm still trying to figure out when's the schedule coming out for the second half? What does the break look like? Like how many makeup games are played during that time? How does it all fit in? So I don't want to say too much because I don't know that I know enough to comment insightfully.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey Steve, what's your relationship like with Nick Nurse? I want to say when you got hired, he said that you two met years ago in England when your brother was playing there, and I think he was coaching there. So it seems like you two have a pretty extensive history.
Yeah, I've known Nick since the late '90s. He was coaching. I can't remember the name of the team. He's coached a couple teams in England. Yeah, sorry, I won't waste us a half hour trying to pull which team it was, but someone up north near Manchester, I believe. And we had a mutual friend who was a British journalist, and he hooked us up. I went and played some pickup with his team, and that was the first time I met him. And to watch his career evolve has been amazing. And he's a brilliant basketball coach, and to come from that side of the basketball world is incredible. It's a great story, and to see him reach the mountaintop, in 2019 was incredible.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, Nick Nurse was talking yesterday about Kyrie's ability to finish, his creativity more so in finishing around the rim. He was saying that, the defense could do everything right, rotate, contest, have help, and Kyrie could still make a layup, which, you kind of got to shake it off and get back on offense, because sometimes there's nothing that you could do about it. Does his ability to finish remind you of anyone that you may have played with when you were in the league? And can you get a sense of whether those finishes kind of are debilitating to a defense at times?
Well, Kyrie can be debilitating to any defense at any moment. He's just that good, that talented, that adept at shot making. I don't know who he reminds me of. I mean, I think, his Uncle Rod was a pretty special finisher. There's been plenty of guys that are special, but Kyrie's is, for a small guard, in the 6'3" and under range, he's pretty historic in his shot making, creativity, skill level, ball handling, finishing. I mean, there's not many you could say are better. I'm not saying he's the best player of all time, but as far as the smaller guards, he's about as skilled as there's been, and so he's very, very impressive shot making, creativity, and ability to get his own.
Would you say Iverson is a fair comparison, or is this Iverson on a different level of his own?
No, I think Allen was special in his own right. I think Kyrie's more skilled. I think Allen was, it was different. Allen was electrifying in a different way. He got to the line a lot. Allen was a crazy competitor, but the variety of shot making coupled with the accuracy that Kyrie has is historic. So maybe in Allen's Allen, he's one of the all-time greats. But Kyrie, if you look at what he's able to do on the court, is historic too, and in the skill level and way he's able to get his.
Laura Albanese with Newsday.
Hey, Steve. Looking in, the chemistry between Kyrie, James, and KD is really falling into place. In the beginning, did you ever doubt or worry how these three prolific scorers with similar abilities, they have their own egos, would be able to meld together? And are you surprised at all at how quickly they've adapted?
As a coach, you always worry. So that's just a part of it. But I felt positive about it. I feel like there is a synergy that's possible. I think it's been pretty quick in how willing they are to play off each other, or to not unsettle the trio or the group, which is great. And they still have a long way to go. They can get a lot better in their connectivity and their collective play. But for an early review, I mean, it's been really positive in just the fact how willing they are to share and to root for one another. And, that's the foundations of something special. Now we have to put in the hard work and learn from our mistakes and, create a vision that becomes more and more clear and simple as we go along to produce at the rate we want to. But, the building blocks are there. Michael
Grange with Sportsnet.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for doing this. What I wanted to ask you was what is your vision for this group defensively? I presume not like the 2005 Spurs or something like that, but is there a threshold that you guys think you need to get to be a championship team?
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at the historical stuff. I think the Warriors were 12th in defense the last year they won. I think the Lakers had a year where they were above that even, or below that, I guess you'd say. But typically a top 10 defense. There's a lot of ways you can dissect it and all that. So I think for us, and in my mind right now, I'm not getting carried away with when are we going to creep into the top 10 defensively. I'm like, are we trending in a better direction? Are we seeing improvement? Are we seeing a way or a vision that, okay, this can work this way where we're solid defensively? And then once we can get solid, I think then we can maybe diversify what we do and be able to cohesively go in and out of defenses. But I've said many times, this season is our training camp in many respects. You have to get enough wins to get in the playoffs, and hopefully you get a whole bunch of them. But really the main thing in such a strange year with a new team, new staff, a training camp that went out the window in a sense because we made a trade, we have to just chip away and improve throughout the season. Then we'll start to figure out where are we, what is the closing kind of gap that we need to get over and get ourselves to a position where we can be highly successful in a playoff environment. But right now I think it's still in we're definitely going in a direction, but we're still as much in the observing and learning category as we are in the this is our vision. So it's still early for this group, but we know that is an Achilles heel, and that's something that has to be a priority for us.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Jeff Zilgett with USA Today.
Hey, Steve. Achilles injury, it's such a tough one to come back from. What were you looking for when you were watching Kevin, maybe even a little bit in the offseason training camp? What were some of the things that you saw that let you know that he was going to be just fine?
I think there's a few things. You first want to look for confidence. Is he confident in unencumbered? Is he confident to make moves instinctively? Is he not guarding it? It's the compensatory patterns that are dangerous for the whole body, let alone the injury. And then the last thing would be explosiveness. And so, it was pretty impressive how he was unencumbered. He felt confident, in the preseason, or sorry, I should say the off season. In the preseason, he's just gone from strength to strength. But the most impressive thing is that he doesn't seem to favor it. He doesn't allude to favoring it even when you talk about it, and he has his explosiveness. So it's pretty remarkable where he's come, and for him to be this efficient as a player on top of all that, the movement is impressive. And nothing's set in stone, but you have to take your hat off and just say the guy loves the game. He's willing to sacrifice because he has such a deep passion for playing, and that's put him in his position where he's made this incredible recovery.